Hi everyone, my name is Shadi Hanna. I'm an IT manager of business relationship for corporate finance, corporate affairs, and business operation at Stater Brothers Market, which is a grocery retail chain. As a student of data science, I frequently get asked about artificial intelligence, specifically in relation to the future threat of strong AI against humans. The internet is filled with claims of future AI taking over humans. This idea seems to resonate with so many people, and there are hundreds of recorded incidents that caused injury and many instances of deaths in humans. So in this video, we will first review claims by influential figures who expressed that AI will eventually take over humans. Next, in order for us to evaluate whether this claim is valid, I will try to define the variable or variables that need to be measured to determine if an AI is acting based on its own understanding of the environment around it, meaning AI is now responsible of its own bad action, not a human coding error. To do so, I will need to carefully go over some key concepts that scientists and researchers debated as foundational elements in AI awareness, specifically consciousness and understanding. We will then review some example of proposed AI consciousness testing. Um, we'll move then to assess the level of advancement in AI intelligence. Basically, are we there yet? We will then review the ethical implications of advancement in this field by going over real-world recorded incidents. And we'll also discuss the complexity of creating unified catalog of implemented cognitive architectures for AI, a real problem. And finally, we will review ethical concerns of future strong AI and propose solutions to control its impact. So let's get started. In 2015, dozens of the world's top artificial intelligence experts, including Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk, signed an open letter calling on researchers to take care and avoid potential pitfalls of the disruptive technology and AI. They warned that scientists must not create something which cannot be controlled. Stephen Hawking, in his final book, Brief Answers to Big Questions, he says that the short-term impact of AI depends on who controls it, which is narrow AI, and we'll discuss it later. I continue to say the long-term impact depends on whether it can be controlled at all. And this is referencing what we will be considering a strong AI. In 2020, Elon Musk claimed that AI will overtake humans in less than 5 years, claiming that existential threats posed by AI is almost a reality. So we're going to look at a story that circled very recently. In August of this year, 2022, Amelia Tate published in The Observer a controversial story about Google's AI program, Lambda, I think it's called. Google engineer Blake Lemoine had been tasked to test the company's artificial intelligence chatbot Lambda for bias. Now, a month into his research, he came to a conclusion that it was sentient, meaning it had somewhat consciousness. And that Lambda told Lemoine that it had read the book Les Miserables, it's a French novel, that it knew how it felt to be sad, and it knew how it felt to be content, and it knew how it felt to be angry, that it feared death. And Lemoine spent a few months collecting more data through his interaction with Lambda, and ended up pretty much leaking the information to the public after his claims to his management were rejected for no foundational basis, I guess. Um, he was consequently placed into a paid leave. Independent expert came and reviewed Lambda, and researchers concluded unanimously, almost unanimously was the word, which makes me think there are people that did not agree, that Lambda is not sentient. For an AI to become smarter than human in a manner that Musk and Hawking warned, it means that it understands and acts based on its own understanding of the world around it. And it can make choices based on that AI consciousness, whatever that means. We can't put our hands on it. We will next dive into the biggest debate in many scientific fields. It's consciousness. So let's get started with that. Right, consciousness. Eric Kandel winner of the Nobel Prize in Medicine, wrote that understanding consciousness is the most challenging task confronting science. In a search for definition for consciousness, scientists and researchers throughout, many years took many different approaches long before AI consciousness was even a question. Gonzalo Monevar, in a scientific search of a satisfactory operational definition of a conscious state, proposed investigating consciousness if it exists without awareness by conducting a new version of a classic split brain experiments. I wanted to present this approach because it demonstrates how an unaware person can possibly make conscious decisions, which is fascinating and can, in further experiments, prove that machines may be able to perform conscious decisions. Alfred North Whitehead explains why it is hard to define understanding. He states that there is always an understanding beyond the area of our comprehension that we have. Therefore, a complete understanding is a perfect grasp of the universe in its totality. We are finite beings, and so such a grasp is pretty much denied to us. Dr. Hewell, who was master of Trinity College, Cambridge, about 80 years ago, demonstrated through a short, well-known rhyme how understanding is limited. I am a master of this college, and what I know not is not knowledge. What does he know? Jordan Peterson describes consciousness to be a mystery that faces the mystery of potential, then it changes it to reality. With these examples, just wanted to demonstrate that there is no clear definition of consciousness. It is something that is discussed continuously. So now we're going to move to AI consciousness for whatever it's being defined. In his book, Machine Consciousness, Owen Holland, who researched in biological inspired robotics for 15 years, stated that many in the AI community strongly support the view that computational agents could in principle be fully conscious. On the other hand, Sir Roger Penrose, a British mathematical physicist who was awarded the 2020 Nobel Prize in Physics for discovering that black hole formation is a robust predictor in Einstein's general relativity, obviously a brilliant guy. In an interview with Jordan Peterson, which we referenced in the previous slide, he's a known clinical psychologist. In that interview, Sir Roger explains how consciousness is directly related to understanding. Then he proceeds by making his case that understanding, whatever that means, is not computational. It is not the following of rules. It is something else. So many things, but it's not computational. In that approach, he concludes that AI can never be conscious because it is based on computational rule. In his words, if you can find something in what consciousness seems to do, which is demonstrably not computational, then that is saying something. And that something is you can't get to consciousness computationally. Consciousness is so many things, but it's not computational. Sir Roger is known for his non-periodic tiling problem, a problem that cannot be solved computationally. It requires human consciousness, and that's what he's challenging people with. So knowing that it's not an easy task to define consciousness, how can we determine that a machine has become conscious? In other words, if indeed there is possibility that an AI may reach a state of understanding and self-awareness, is there a way for this evolution to be detected? James A. Regia evaluated the rise of machine consciousness by studying consciousness with computational models. He concludes that no existing approach to artificial consciousness has presented any compelling demonstration of phenomenal machine consciousness, or even, it goes further, or even a clear evidence that AI will eventually be possible, AI consciousness will eventually be possible. But that is just one study out of thousands. As I mentioned before, scientists and researchers are divided on the subject, and clearly there's no winner here. Here's an example of a method proposed to test consciousness in AI. Christoph Koch and Giulio Tononi proposed utilizing a new version of the Turing test to measure machine consciousness. Simple questions such as, what's wrong with the picture? They believe that answers to arbitrary simple questions about how images go well together requires high level of visual understanding, which we know by now understanding is a key to consciousness. So in the example presented, the plant in front of the monitor for a human, this is a no-brainer. It can, looking at the two pictures, say, well, that one is wrong. Uh, their argument is a machine wouldn't truly understand that. Recent advancements in artificial intelligence are due to availability of more powerful computing platforms, availability of big data shared from internet and electronic gadgets, improvement in algorithms, particularly in the scalability aspect. Let's review some important milestones in AI. In 2011, IBM Watson won the world's greatest Jeopardy champions. In 2012, the deep neural network showed significant improvement in image classification and won the ImageNet Computer Vision Contest. In 2016, DeepMind's AlphaGo defeated the best human Go player in the world. In 2017, Libratus, a poker AI, defeated Team of Human professional players. In 2017, Waymo's driverless cars driven 4 million miles on the road. In 2017, Saudi Arabia's newest citizen is a robot named Sophia. In 2018, deep learning network performed at the same level as radiologists in reading computed tomography. In 2020, Jason M. Allen had won the blue ribbon in the Colorado State Fair's annual art competition. He created it using an AI called Midjourney, which is text-driven. So all the examples that we have discussed so far are considered narrow AI. Narrow AI in definition is considered not good enough to complete highly general tasks like human. However, narrow AI is extremely good at doing one thing. To understand the limitation of narrow AI, a narrow AI that is coded to play an English chess game cannot play a Chinese chess game. On the other hand, strong AI is not a composition of narrow AI technology. So an AI that is coded to play both English and Chinese chess game is not considered strong AI unless it learned to play both games on its own and other qualities as well. Strong AI must be able to demonstrate the following: sentience, emotional intelligence, imagination, effective command of other machines or robots, self-referring and self-reflecting qualities, exhibit robust and adaptive behavior, able to perform variety of tasks at different situations, reason, understand context, perform complex tasks that the narrow AI of today are not able to comprehend or perform. And just to comment on the emotional intelligence, it simply is the understanding of human emotions and reaction accordingly based on what is saw. So now that we understand the definition of a narrow and a strong AI, the current state of AI, of artificial intelligence currently, it is all narrow AI. And so there is a field of computational creativity, which is an area of active research and learning affordance, which in definition is the ability to perceive an object as in not only its current state, but also what can be done with it. This gives the machine the flexibility it needs to think out of the data and manipulate objects or its environment beyond statically defined tasks. As computational creativity advances in many directions, Alexei Samosanovich from George Mason University conducted a review of the comparative table of cognitive architectures, in which a collective product of many researchers and developers of cognitive architectures were gathered together. Alexei proposes that we need to work toward having a unified catalog of implemented cognitive architecture. Otherwise, it will be very hard to analyze the performance of strong AI in the future. His fears are supported by his findings. He was able to show that based on the architecture he reviewed, he was able to classify 54 architectures families. The design, you can't just put them together. It is important to note that although these architecture families have differences, they seem to be covering similar cognitive features and functions, which means you can unify the approach. It's just each one did it his own way, right? Such as episodic memory, emotions, metacognition, imaginary, etc. Alexei also notes that in his review, all the architectures seem to take their origin from biological inspirations as well. Now let's review some recorded incidents related to AI. In 2015, a robot killed a factory worker at Volkswagen plant in Germany. The 21-year-old was installing a robot when it was struck in the chest, was crushed against a plate, and died after the incident. According to the source, that the robot was old and outdated. In 2016, a Tesla owner was killed in a crash while watching a movie on autopilot. In 2018, a woman was struck and killed by an autonomous car operated by Uber. Was driving on its own. In 2020, military drone attacked soldiers during battle Libya's civil war last year without human control. In 2022, television channel Ukraine 24 was breached by hackers on March 16 to display messages to appear as though they were coming from the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky by using deepfake technology. All the reported incidents above are caused by narrow AI. Meanwhile, the movement for ethical artificial intelligence and machine learning is still barely evolving. In canvassing of experts conducted in the summer of 2018, some 979 technology pioneers, innovators, developers, business and policy leaders, researchers, and activists addressed the concern around future advancement in AI. They grouped the main concern in the following categories: human agency. As automated systems become more prevalent and complex, humans will lack knowledge of the context inside that black box that we're using. This is going to cause uncertainty, distrust, dependence, and it's going to make humans feel like they're losing control of their lives. Data abuse, hard to regulate, profit-driven AI tools, well, this is something we see today, will be at the hands of companies and governments striving for power. Data use and surveillance in complex systems is a major concern. Jobless, so job loss pretty much. Social unrest caused by disruption of all AI aspects related to human works, as AI continue to limit human jobs, categories, quantities, and qualities. And then we move into dependence lock-in. A greater dependency on AI-driven systems could reflect negatively on individuals' cognitive, social, and survival skill. Pretty much going to have a slower future generation. Mayhem, as AI gets more utilized across human infrastructure, fear of its falling in the wrong hand grows, obviously, with weaponry, cybercrime, and weaponization of the information as well. So, in conclusion, and based on my review of the many moving parts contributing to the building of a strong AI, I am still uncertain that a conscious artificial intelligence is feasible if we continue to compare it to a human awareness. I would argue that AI has already proven superior performance and efficiency over humans for any given specific function. In 2003, as part of my computer science curriculum with Dr. Gonzalo, who was mentioned during my presentation, I took a class called Philosophy of Mind. We were asked to write a paper regarding the purpose of consciousness. My conclusion of that research was that the purpose of consciousness is survival. And I still believe that. If we teach machine to evolve towards survival, it will surpass us. It will take over. AI's purpose must not be the attainment of human-like features like consciousness. Instead, I'm in agreement with the suggested solution that we just reviewed. AI should be focused on higher serving purposes like global economic stability and efficiency, fair distribution measures of resources, control over human activities that are proven to cause environmental disturbance leading to irreversible consequences. With that being said, I hope this was enjoyable. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found value in the information that was presented.